can you suggest a trading pair with Tesla, not Bitcoin, and include the ranges to swap in and out of each? Not financial advice. So I have covered, this is a great question, but it's also an extremely loaded question with way beyond the scope of this, but I will spend a lot of time on it to give you the tools you need to be able to identify pairs yourself and show you how they can be traded as well. Now, I will not do Tesla and other pairs because I've covered a lot of those already. Like I do look at Tesla MicroStrategy, for example, but I want to show you this. This is kind of positive and negative correlation map across a whole bunch of different stocks. You've got, I threw Bitcoin in there. You've got Alcoa, American Airlines, Apple, Best Buy, CVS, CVX, Home Depot, you name it. But the really beautiful thing is when it's green, it's a positive correlation. When it's red, it's a negative correlation. I like to focus on things that are kind of positively correlated because you know they'll eventually kind of go with each other in the same trend. Inversely correlated assets are much trickier to trade. So for example, here, if we look at this, obviously we've got Citibank and Bitcoin, very high correlation, interesting. Citibank and American Airlines, very high correlation, and therefore American Airlines and Bitcoin correlated. Alcoa, American Airlines, you've got that logo there is Sentinel-1 is correlated to Apple and Citibank is correlated to Alcoa. The negative correlations, and trust me, there's a method to this. You got CVS, Bitcoin, CVS, Citibank, etc. It's interesting we talk about Citibank and Chevron and Apple, not at all correlated. You know, jumping into CVS as a side note, big thank you to Sanjay for sharing this morning. This company is becoming a healthcare behemoth. 85% of Americans live within 5 miles of a CVS pharmacy, and the company is the most profitable retail pharmacy in the US. While Rite Aid has a net worth of, I think, $200 million, Walgreens has $30 billion, CVS is $105 billion of market cap, and they are dominating the space. And remember, there's a lot of money in drugs. So I don't trade CVS, but that's interesting as one of the pairs. So I'm going to dig into one of them and show you how you can do it yourself. Here is a pair that are correlated. This is Citibank and American Airlines. I drew the little chart. You can see it's going back the last year or two. And I drew a little green line of when you flip Citibank into American Airlines and a red line across the top of when you flip American Airlines back into Citibank. And literally works like clockwork. You can do this up to 5 times a year, which is like the cadence that I like when I swing stuff, 6 to 12 weeks, a month and a half to 3 months is nice. So you could do it, quarterly basis. You don't have to keep your eyes on the market all the time. You can just check in every day, see how things are bouncing around these particular lines. Now, if we look at the actual price of the stocks, you can see I interlace them here. American Airlines is in yellow. Citibank is in that teal color, and of course the pair as well. And once you get used to looking at these pairs, this will be second nature. For somebody who's not used to them, they'll probably get seasick with all the different lines. But there you can see the relative activity of when certain things spike. So for example, in the middle of the chart here, you see the yellow spiking. That's American Airlines shooting, went all the way down early 2022 and shot up by summer 2022. Typically, airlines but they're seasonal. So summertime, a lot of people travel and people get excited about potential earnings for airlines. So you can see those types of spikes. So you can actually map this out over 10 years and you can see the seasonal spikes happening. There's one a year ago back here. The other big yellow spike at the top, again, summertime. So that's one way to play it. In addition, you can go to co-integrated pairs. So 2 assets are co-integrated, means they are fundamentally connected and that their price will eventually converge, and this provides a stable relationship for the pair trader to exploit, like us. Now, even when the prices of the individual assets may be fluctuating in the short term, in contrast, correlated or uncorrelated assets may not have that stable relationship, making it sometimes more difficult to predict their future and the success of the pair trading strategy. But I do like this. Now, there's a couple here. I'll just draw up one and why. Sometimes co-integrated assets aren't as easy to pair trade as something like the one I showed previously. This is Zion Bancorp against US Bancorp. And you can see here, this is the pair. And it's hard to determine, when to swap in, when to swap out. And they're not as range bound over a short term like the others. Now, to keep it simple, as we do, what we do is with the ARB Cloud model, It's basically looking at trading Bitcoin against MicroStrategy, when to do it, when not to do it. And this chart tells you exactly if you are below the cloud, you sell your Bitcoin for MicroStrategy. If you're above the cloud, you sell your MicroStrategy for Bitcoin. And you can do that like clockwork, even on a daily basis. So that's another way to do it. That's the way we kind of keep it simple. So you don't have to kind of understand seasonal patterns or co-integrated stuff. But this is the most co-integrated thing you can possibly find.